Muslim sister was taken prisoner by the Romans. And during her captivity, one of her captors, one of these Roman guards, he slapped her. This woman, she cried out to the ruler of the time, Ya Mu'tasim, Oh Mu'tasim. She cried out, and slowly word came to the Khalifa of the Muslims at the time. And when he heard of it, what was his reaction? Did he cry? Did he shed tears? No, what Mu'tasim said, he wrote a letter to the Roman ruler and he said to them that if you do not release this woman, I will send an army against you. And when the front ranks of that army reach you, the last ranks of that army will not have left my palace. Allahu Akbar, this was the time when the Muslims had izzah. This was the time when the Muslims had dignity. And today, we have a similar situation, if not a worse situation, with the plight of our sister, our mother, our daughter, Aafia Siddiqui. But Aafia has been detained now for 7 years. 7 years of brutal torture, of imprisonment, of rape, of oppression. And every one of us will bear an obligation. We will be standing account for this and our inaction for the last 7 years before Allah on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And every one of us has to ask ourselves, did we do enough? Is this enough? Will what we do in the coming weeks be enough? Because it's a terrifying prospect when Aafia Siddiqui comes on the Day of Judgment and says, where were all the billions of Muslims who claimed they were my brothers and sisters? Where were they when I was being oppressed? And it was in light and with these feelings in mind that in February 2010, when Aafia was convicted, that a group of sisters came together from across the world, from the UK, the US, Canada, Australia and Saudi Arabia. They came together and said enough was enough. That time was ticking away and we had to take a stand for Aafia Siddiqui. And that was what put together the Justice for Aafia coalition. This coalition that spans 5 continents, all for this one sister of ours who has been raped and tortured and oppressed in secret prisons for the last 5 to 7 years. Now, today what are we going to do? This is only one event. There are a series of events taking place all over the world today. In Pakistan, in America, in Canada, in Australia. And it's only the beginning of a series of campaigns to call for the release of Aafia Siddiqui. And Abdul Jalil will talk more about this towards the end of the demonstration. And he announced how we have now been forbidden from marching to the US Embassy, which is quite amusing because initially it was agreed that there would be no problem. Now, apparently there's a shortage of police officers to look after us on this march. We all remember last year, the Gaza demonstration, there just wasn't enough police officers. There's too many of them. So we question, where are those police officers now? There doesn't seem to be too many people here that they can't escort us on a march to the demonstration. In reality, the problem is, it is not a lack of police officers, not a lack of security, it is a fear of what this will do to the Muslims. It is a fear of this awakening, a fire in the hearts of the Muslims. It is a fear that if we take this symbolic march from the Pakistani embassy to the US embassy, that our children will in the future take a march to Bagram to call for the release of Aafia Siddiqui. So inshallah I'm going to give you back to Abdul Jalil and he can introduce the next speaker. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.